So you're saying put it down there? Yeah. So it doesn't fall? Mike's worried about my water. Hi. How are you guys? Girls, if we have any in here. All right, so real quick, I'll just say a couple things, and then I'll take any question that you want. The last time I was in this room up here, I've been here, now this is my second time. There was only one other time I was here, and that was for Coach Mallory's funeral. So that's brings back some heavy heart. Certainly puts me back in that state of mind. And then as well, the situation that has come about, why I'm standing here in front of you guys, I have a real heavy heart about. For our O-line players and for Coach Hiller. There ain't anything easy about what happened. And we know the profession, we understand the profession, but those are real relationships and those are real people with a family that is fantastic in Coach Hiller's and a man who's fantastic, and I think the world of Coach Hiller. So, I got a little bit of a heavy heart today, and then you guys decided to do this up here today, so that even made it worse. So that's where we're at. But, okay, with that, we'll open it up for questions. Go ahead and fire away.
Ken Bykoff, Pigs.com. Outside of, obviously, this building, apparently, what's it been like being back in Bloomington? And just what impact do you think that you could make on this O-line through the last half dozen games of the season?
Okay, so question one, what's it been like being back in Bloomington? Surreal. I've been in this profession a long time. From the time I got done playing here, I went and coached right away in high school, and then my journey started in coaching. And unfortunately, a lot of different events that were going on down here with alumni and things that I couldn't come to because I was a little busy at the time. So a lot has changed, and there are some things I certainly recognize and some things I certainly don't. And it's been a real surreal experience with the town. As far as what was your specific? Say that question again. Yeah, I don't know. I'll be dead honest with you. I don't know. We're in the middle of season. This isn't a wave your magic wand and all of a sudden everything's better. I certainly am not a miracle worker as far as trying to get production out. And there isn't time. We got to play Maryland in 5. But I know this. I'm going to try because Coach Allen asked me to try. And let me just say this too. Maybe saying more than I should, but I'm just saying it anyways. Is that if it wasn't for Coach Allen and this university, I wouldn't have done this because this is a hard situation. I'm not saying because of anything other than, because it's a hard situation. But he asked, so I'm going to do it and I'm going to try. And the kids were great today. Yesterday was extremely hard on those kids. And I tried to get out of the way. And then today, we got business to do. So they were good. So I was pretty happy with day one for what it is.
I guess to that point, I mean, is it almost just, what's your approach? Is it just sort of fundamentals and saying we're not going to reinvent the wheel, so let's just try and make sure we're doing the basic things well?
Yeah, I mean, that's the base of it, right? There's no time to change a scheme or do things. There may be things we can do in setup to help scheme, which we certainly will do that and get that done because, I don't think there's anything wrong with the setup before. From a naked eye, but I know me coming in there, I got to be me. And so fundamentals will be the big thing. The change in practice tempo will just be me. Not that there wasn't tempo before or anything bad before. It's just I got to be me. So there are going to be some differences from that side of it. Oh, you're all right. You're all
right. Dustin DePierre, Bloomington Herald-Times. I guess what we don't always know just how some of these other jobs that are not initial staff jobs are like. I mean, what was your job like as quality control and defense? How drastic of a change is today from 2 days ago or 3 days ago from what you were doing?
Yeah, well, okay, let's go backwards. Drastic change. And the quality control is really, you know, when Coach Allen called and Tom called, you know, I asked him, what was your vision for it? He goes, I don't really know. And we just kind of worked through it together, and I really enjoyed what I was doing. I was on the defense. I was learning a lot. And quite frankly, one of my fears was that I was learning more than I was given, but I was certainly given an offensive perspective to the defensive guys, and they seemed to like it. And so I was really enjoying that with that whole thing. But no, now you're stepping into a position coach. Certainly haven't been a position coach in a long time, but being a head coach for the last 10 years, that you know, you're around it, so you know how to step back into that role. And so we're doing that, so it's a big difference.
Seth Tao, Daily Hoosier. Maybe even stepping back from offensive line, but just kind of looking at coaching in general. I guess, what is your approach to coaching and teaching the game?
Yeah, good question. You're a teacher, and that's what you got to be. You got to teach the game of football. And the good thing is that our guys have a great understanding of football. We really have done a good job in identification and targeting. Now, some of the execution hasn't been at the highest level that we all wanted at, but that's part of teaching too. How do you teach execution? That's through repetition. So that's where it crosses over into coaching, is that, you know, to play offensive line, it's about resistance and repetition. And that's about as easy as you can put it in general terms. Like, it's big men trying to move other big men all the time. And so that's what we're trying to do.
Tyler Tashman with the Indianapolis Star. I guess this is kind of a two-part question, but you obviously played here. Do you just have any favorite memories from being here? And you said, you know, the only reason you're doing this because it's Indiana, because Tom Allen asked you, why does this university mean so much to you?
I have a lot of favorite memories. Probably none of them are appropriate for this conversation, okay? Yeah. I'm worried about you guys all putting your hands over here, especially Don back there. Yeah, a ton. And, you know, just, you know, obviously the pat answer is all the relationships. And, you know, like being back here, the one thing that there's some guys I haven't talked to in 30 years, and it's like we picked up where we left off. And there are other guys that I've kept in a lot of contact with through the course of the years. So it's the relationships and also the time spent, the things we did. What was the second part? You said that the only reason, or the reason you took this was... Yeah, why is it so special to me? I mean, you know, when you pour your heart and soul into a place and you have... Listen, the whole reason I'm in coaching is Coach Mallory and his coaches. They did for me what I'm trying to do for other people. And so when you come back to the place where that started... because this is a hard profession, and it's gotten harder. And I'm not complaining about it. I'm just telling you what it is. But we do it for that love. And when you come back to the place where it started, you know, it means something. And this is a special place. Like, you got to do things a little different around here. And that's all right. You know, different ain't bad. Different's just different. Make sense?
Rod, I know your 3 years as a starter at center were influenced a lot by George Ballou and his line coaching. And how much of that influence did you take with you, and do you still practice today with George and Coach Mallory?
Yeah, I mean, like I told the guys, Don, I said, you know, we're going to be on the sled every day. Well, what do you think I did when I played? I was on the sled every day. So, yeah, I mean, you know, obviously parts of the game have changed as the game has changed, some of the technical aspects of it, but the fundamentals are certainly the same. And a lot of those things, you know, that I did, I'm doing now. And, you know, I've kept in contact with Coach Blue through the course of the years. I haven't talked to him for a little bit now. But Coach Stripling, you know, started out. Being my only coach before he went over there, and then had Coach Uselak for a year, and then and then back to Coach Blue. So certainly all three of them really shaped. But all the coaches did. You know, I remember Joe Novak, you know, I was a homesick freshman. And, you know, Joe's defense coordinator, I didn't even think he knew my name. He came up and, you know, kind of, you know, listen, there wasn't anything soft about any of those guys, but he kind of came up and gave me a shot in the ribs and said, let's get going, and talked to me for about 30 seconds. So, you know, made a difference, certainly.
Mason Williams, Indiana Rivals. Coach, I'm just kind of getting a first read on you here. You seem extremely candid and also a very relationship-oriented person. When it comes to
that's pretty deep, man, for right away.
When it comes to the guys that you're coaching with and the guys that you're going to be coaching as well, the players, how important is it to establish a working and trusting relationship with those guys?
I mean, it's everything. And there ain't nothing else, but it's everything. And there's no substitution in relationship for time. I haven't had any time with these guys. I've been on the defensive side, you know, and quite candidly, in my role, I wasn't around a bunch of players. So we got to do both. We got to get ready to play, and we got to get to know each other. So here we go.
So obviously with you and Walt Bell, there's two coaches on the offensive side with head coaching experience, and when Walt Bell was introduced, he said, I've been in the big chair before, I know what a good assistant looks like, and I want to make sure I am that for Coach Allen. Do you have kind of the same mindset, having had good assistants in the past, seeing what they can do for a football team?
Are you asking, or are you telling me I do have the same mindset?
Yeah, do you have the same mindset?
Okay, I got you. Yeah, I mean, obviously, you know, I think, you know, everyone has a job to do, and you go do your job. And, you know, we all believe in Coach Allen. And quite frankly, getting to know him has been one of the pleasures of my coaching career. Because we got all different types of characters in this coaching profession. And he's as genuine as they come, man. And, you know, it's been a joy. And so, yeah, if I can help him, I'm going to help him.
Zach Ostrom with the Indianapolis Star. I recognize it's a loaded question after a couple of days, but as much as you're willing to share, I mean, what are your impressions of your guys? And I know that you've also said they've been through a lot in the last day or so,
Yep.
So I imagine it's all a little raw, but just what have been your impressions early on in terms of looking at the group?
You know, you get past the emotion a little bit, which is hard in the 24 hours now that we've had with them, is that, you know, they're a bright and intelligent group. You know, identification and marking from, you know, some technical line stuff has not been the problem. It certainly has not. And so that means they're really smart. So that's my first impression of them. And I think they want to be good. And that's a big-time quality to have. So ask me that in about a week. I'll be able to tell you a lot more. Okay? Otherwise, I'd just be making stuff up right now. You guys good? Can I get my water down here now? You good? Thanks, Kegger. See you, boys.